Hey everybody, Dishadar here, and this video is going to be talking about what I'm going to do during the holiday of Mabon, also known as the autumnal equinox, also known as the beginning of fall. Even though fall is such a weird term, I much prefer autumn. It sounds more official. Anyway, so as we already know, Mabon is on September 22nd of this year, 2013 of course. And, well, me personally, I won't be able to celebrate on the 22nd, so I'm going to celebrate on the 23rd, since I'll have that day off anyway. Excuse me. So, when I celebrate, I'm just going to basically be talking about what I'm doing. I'm not going to give all kinds of correspondences or anything like that, because, there are millions of different websites that have already talked about that kind of stuff. So there's no point me adding, a drop of the bucket in the vastness of the sea. So anyway, for me personally, of course, I'm going to be doing my celebrating over at my spiritual area, which is the stone circle, that I'm going to show when I make the video that's talking about it, since I deleted the last one, and I'll post that one along with this batch of videos that I'm already posting for the day that you are currently seeing this. So anyway, so for me, I have a really decent, well, at least in my opinion, decentralized approach on celebrating, because I don't have an altar, as you may already know if you looked at my Facebook post or my Tumblr post, ishidara.tumblr.com, easy plugin. There was a flood that swept my stuff away, and it got swept away again. So I'm just going without an altar, because I'm tired of my outside ritual area getting flooded, and I can't do it in the house because of personal issues and family issues, since that's not gonna work. So I have to keep an outside one. So thus I'll use the stone circle that I will show you, that you will see in one of these videos. Yeah. So anyway, so like I said, I have a very decentralized approach. And for my spiritual area, I don't use the four corners that are usually used, because I wasn't yawning the entire time, but as soon as I started making the video, I started yawning. Anyway, so I don't use the four corners that are usually used by many practitioners. Instead, I just use the stone circle as the marker, so I'll know the inside and the outside of the ritual space, because it's around 12 foot in diameter, more or less. So I don't really need a marker when I already have one that surrounds me. As well as that, when I use my placements, I don't have a necessary pattern that I use. I just try to make sure that as I'm forming, the candle formations or whatnot, that it's in such a way so that when I'm lighting the candles, I don't risk burning myself reaching over a candle, or I don't accidentally light anything else on fire that shouldn't be on fire. So I just try to space it in a way so that it's in front of me and not all around me. Because if it's in front of me, all my attention will be towards this group of candles. Instead of having the four corners, I'll have one that's behind me, and to me personally, it takes away from the celebrating, because I have a candle behind me that I can't even see and thus cannot interact with. So that's just me personally. But for this holiday, I'm going to have a total of 4 candles. I'm going to have a brown, black, red, and a white candle. I almost got the stars and stripes with red, white, and blue. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to have a brown candle, which will represent thankfulness, and that'll be, my little paper that I wrote. So just in case I get distracted or start to lose my way during the ritual, I'll be able to have something that'll put me back into a good frame of thought, and it'll keep the thought train rolling as far as conducting the ritual. So the brown candle will represent thankfulness, and brown is to represent the sacrifice of the sun god and the grain goddess that bear fruit to the land. So when I say brown, I don't mean it as a representation of the element earth. I mean it more as a representation of dying things, of dying plants. because when the plants are dead, of course, then that means that they turn brown. So, and it also is representative of the sun, because without sun, then the plant, well, of course, there are a lot more factors that contribute to a plant's death, but overall, without the sun, then of course the plants would die. So I'm just using that as a kind of a group symbolism for the brown candle, so that it'll symbolize the lacking of the sun, the death of the sun, as well as the death of the plants. And as that death occurs, it goes into the ground. So it's more of a dual theme. Next one will be the black candle, which would represent respect. And that is the celebration of the black goddess and death god, who rise to bring the cold grip of death to the land. Now for that, I represent black because as the green gods and the sun god die, of course not permanently, but in a temporary sort of way, return to the ground for slumber, if you rather it be put that way. It'll represent the dark gods, dark deities, which will come and overtake their place. Instead of having a sun god, you will have the night goddess, or the dark goddess, or the black goddess. They all represent the same theme of there being night and the lacking of light. And the death god will be taking the place of the grain god, since with grain you have the life, because you'll have people and all sorts of animals coming in to eat the grain that that is given to them by the plants. So with death, of course, everything will return to the ground too, so that the earth itself will be rejuvenated during the cool time, so that when spring comes around, then you'll have everything coming back up again. The cycle of life, essentially. So, and of course, I made a video before that talked about the death gods and the dark deities, and just the coming of Mabon in the dark half of the year, where it's not something that should be feared or something that one should be suspicious of, but something that one should honor, because it's a necessary part of the cycle of life. Without the darkness, there would be continuous growth, and that's invalid, because you can never have continuous growth without having some death to equalize that. You can't bring something out of nothing. Something has to have been there beforehand, and death is that foundation upon which life is brought forth. So it's just to give respect to that aspect and to the new divine figures that will be taking the place of the god and goddess in terms of the sun god, in terms of the grain goddess. Next will be the red candle, which will represent transformation. And the transformation will be the transition from the light half of the year to the dark half. The time where the sun goes from being the strongest to the time where the moon starts to become the strongest, figuratively, metaphorically, allegorically. Because, of course, it's not literally the moon taking over. It's just what the moon represents, which is of night. So as it grows stronger, the red candle will represent that transition and that passing on of the baton, if you will, so that we have a different era, so to speak, that comes for us to recognize, us pagans, witches, and Wiccans, and wherever else you decide to call yourself, nature practitioner or earth spiritualist or what have you. And next will be the white candle. Oh, time check. Okay, and next will be the white candle, which will represent clarity. Now, it's more so for myself than, for the holiday itself. And for the clarity, it is a realization of who I want to be as a person and as a pagan. Of course, that's, I am a pagan, thus, it's kind of integral. Like, of course, by me being a pagan, I mean by me, the paganism, the pagan faith is, of course, automatically implied. So, with that, it's just who I want to be, because with everything starting to come together, as far as me on a religious perspective, knowing what I want, knowing who I want to be, and knowing, like, in the future, my plans as far as spiritual goals and secular goals, and along with my day of conversion, my self-dedication to the path of paganism and the path of nature and the universe in itself. It's just something that I think now would be the time, especially with that transitionary phase, to just acknowledge that part of myself and acknowledge that it is there and it is something that I am going to act upon. So that's what I'm doing for Mabon. And of course, I'm not done. Almost done though. The oil that I'm going to use, because I burn oils. At first, I use incense, but I decided to use oil since it takes a lot longer for the oil to burn, and for the it takes a lot longer for the oil to burn, and for having the incense, it goes so quickly that it's a better investment to just have oils and use that instead. So the oil I'm going to use is going to be sandalwood, and I like it because every time I smell it, I think of autumn. I think of fall. It just has that smell to it, like pine. Pine and sandalwood seem to smell the same to me personally, but I like it because it just reminds me of autumn. It's fall. It's the dark half. Silence coming up. The celebration of the Day of the Dead. And that cold phase. I already talked about in my previous video, where I talked about how much I just really like the cold, dark half of the year. And for my offering, which is the last part, I will have some red fruit juice, as well as some nuts and beans, stuff like that. And the fruit juice is red, so it'll be at first it was going to be to acknowledge the sacrifice, but I changed that red candle that was going to be for the sacrifice to brown to represent the sacrifice that the gods make so that we may live. And from that, I decided to just keep the red juice because that'll be, it's sweet, and it's like I'm giving my own little treat or my own little gift, which is better than treat. Giving my own gift to the earth, as it's, as the time comes for it to start taking in all that it gave. It gave sustenance to the plants, and now the plants will in turn give sustenance to it. And by me giving my own little presentation, my own offering to it, it's in a metaphorical sense, acknowledging and giving thanksgiving to the earth and giving my own little something, so that even though it won't literally help and sustain the earth, it's, something as just a little good giving to it. And nuts, beans, and all that kind of stuff. I'm probably just gonna get like some almonds or some pecans or something like that. More than beans, I think I'll just get some like nuts and that'll be for the like squirrels, for any kind of wildlife that like chipmunks, squirrels, birds, any kind of wildlife period that'll eat it, and that's to give as an offering, so that as I'm sustaining the physical earth metaphorically, I'm also sustaining the animal world literally. So as the animals start packing on the fat, so if they are a bird, migrate, or if they're, like a mammal, squirrel, chipmunk, or anything of the like, so, or rat, mice, whatever, even though we don't have those in the woods where I live, that they'll gain the fat so they can prepare themselves for winter's slumber when they hibernate. So yeah, that's essentially going to be my ritual. Let's see, it's been 13 minutes. So yeah, that's the full encompassment of what my Mabon ritual is going to be for September 22nd for the year of 2013. And I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I don't normally talk about what I'm doing for a holiday, so this is the first time, I believe. So I'd like to thank you for watching. If you like my videos and you want to continue getting updates, to subscribe to my channel, as well as rate it, inbox me, all that kind of stuff. I have a Tumblr that I need to use again. I haven't used it in like a few weeks. It's Deshadara, DESHADARA.tumblr.com. I also have a Twitter, which is Turk_Fortuna, TRK_FORTUNA. And that's about it. And of course this YouTube page, YouTube channel. So again, for like the 85th time, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a very good day. Bye.